Additional resources gets brought up a lot in operations type questions. Who are the additional resources? Who are we calling? And what are we calling them for? First one, obviously the fire department. As an EMS agency, I'm sure a lot of you students are thinking, well, we are fire rescue. In a lot of settings, fire rescue and EMS are completely separate. And this is another thing that I need to bring up. If you're going to take the National Registry written exam, you are taking that test as a paramedic. You're not taking that test as a firefighter. I'm telling you now, it's very challenging to kind of like switch that off, especially if you work as a firefighter and you're going to start reading some of these questions. You need to kind of separate yourself from that. So if they're separate, don't forget, you need to still call for firefighters if you need extrication. We need ladders. We need forcible entry. We still need a call for the fire department or request that as additional resource in your exam. The police, PD. Do we have a violent patient? Do we have vehicle accidents? Do we have Baker Acts that we need somebody to Baker Act the patient? Maybe they're a danger to us. Maybe they're a danger to themselves or somebody else. We don't have the capabilities of doing that. So PD typically gets involved. Do we need a SWAT team there to deal with maybe an active shooter type incident or something that gets way out of hand that we can't handle? PD is an awesome resource. So that's definitely something you got to consider. Air rescue. Why would they be needed? For critical calls that are time-based. Acute coronary syndrome, right? Somebody who's having a heart attack, trauma, absolutely. If you have a patient that is traumatic, maybe you have prolonged extrication, it takes a little bit of time getting that person out of the vehicle. That is a great indication and when we should be calling for air rescue. Long distance transport. If the transport is too long, it's going to take you way too long to get out there. Sometimes it's easier to just call air rescue. And obviously rural locations, there are some times where you can't get to the patient with a truck, okay? Maybe the road ends and the patient is out in the boondocks or out in the forest or wherever, and you might have to hike to the patient. You're gonna be most likely calling air rescue to evac that patient out. Last thing to talk about for additional resources are specialty services. For example, TRT, also known as technical rescue teams, hazmat teams, the power company here in Florida, they're called FPL, right? Florida Power and Light. We can contact them if we need to shut down a grid, if we need, for example, if somebody crashed their car into a light pole and there's power lines down on the car and the car's hot, we can go ahead and shut down the power if we had to. So there's different types of people that we can call. Dive rescue is another great example of that. Know your additional resources, and you as an EMS provider, if you're first arrival, guess who's calling for these additional resources? You are.